This is day 52, Living with Intention. Somewhere along the journey of keeping consistent habits for an extended period of time, I transitioned from just trying to keep simple daily practices towards a more sophisticated approach to conscious living. I'm really not great at this, as I fumble and make mistakes all the time, but every once in a while I am able to rise above the mundane and find a connection to more meaningful action that I do on purpose. When this happens, I can feel how this elevates me to a higher ground, and I get a greater sense of fulfillment and purpose in what I'm doing that day. Intentional living matters because it transforms life from something that happens to us into something we actively shape. When we choose our priorities instead of letting urgency or habit choose for us, our days begin to reflect what we truly value: our relationships, our growth, our faith, our purpose. It gives meaning to the ordinary and direction to the difficult. Instead of drifting from one demand to another, we move with clarity, knowing why we're doing what we're doing. Intentional living doesn't remove hardship, but it anchors us in a deeper sense of purpose, helping us build a life that feels deliberate, aligned, and genuinely meaningful. A few years back, when I committed to daily meditation, I discovered something that reshaped the way I move through life. Mindful awareness is infinitely more rewarding than the unconscious autopilot I had been living on. Meditation slowed me down just enough to actually notice what was happening inside and around me. The thoughts I was believing without question, the habits I was repeating without intention, the emotions I was carrying without understanding them. With awareness came choice. Instead of reacting, I could respond. Instead of rushing, I could observe. That simple shift from unconscious living to mindful presence added depth, clarity, and richness to each day. It taught me that life feels fuller and far more meaningful when we are truly awake to it. Over time, I learned that building and keeping habits is only the first step in improving yourself. Habits create the structure or the daily rhythm that anchors growth, but awareness elevates that structure into something deeper. As I started to notice the things that I was doing unintentionally throughout the day, the subtle reactions, the small decisions, the moments when I drifted off course, I began to see where my life had been shaped by impulse rather than intention. That awareness opened the door to something far more powerful, a principle-centered approach to personal development. Instead of merely trying to do better, I could align my actions with the values and principles I wanted to live by. It turned growth from a checklist into a way of being, where every choice became a chance to steer my life towards what mattered the most. As this awareness grew, it developed into a genuine personal power that allows me to break free from destructive patterns through conscious choice. Instead of feeling pulled along by old habits or automatic reactions, I could pause, recognize what was happening, and decide how I wanted to respond. That simple act of choosing reshaped situations that used to control me. Patterns that once felt inevitable began to loosen their grip because I was no longer operating on instinct alone. I was choosing differently, and those choices slowly rewired the path I walked each day. This shift showed me that real change becomes possible the moment we become fully aware and willing to act with intention rather than habit. In the end, this journey taught me that intentional living is not just a helpful practice, but the highest order of behavior that Maslow wrote about. It reflects self-actualization in its truest form, where we move beyond survival and routine and begin shaping our lives according to meaning, purpose, and inner conviction. When we live with intention, we rise into the fullest expression of who we are capable of becoming, and every choice becomes a step towards that higher version of ourselves.